What's up, docs? It's Doc McJohnson here, and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. It's definitely still a let's talk about it video, but it's a little different. As you'll tell, there'll be no music, but the topic that we're talking about is something that I think is really serious and that a lot of people don't necessarily talk about enough. And you guys chose it. So I actually did a poll on Twitter and you guys chose this topic. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. But I wanted to combine it with another topic. So for today's Let's Talk About It, we'll be talking about anxiety and depression, how to deal with it, how to overcome it. So stay tuned. So first things first, I'm the realist. First thing, let's define what anxiety and depression are. So, anxiety, a feeling of worry, nervousness, or uneasiness about something that is coming or something that you're uncertain about. And depression is a little bit different. It's more of a feeling of like really severe sadness and feeling like you can't really get out of that sadness. Now, even though anxiety and depression are really common in our society, like I said, no one really likes to talk about it. And let me tell you how common it is. Anxiety affects 6.8 million adults in the United States alone. And depression affects 15 million adults in the United States each year. That's a lot. Now, if something is affecting that many people in our country, think it's pretty important for us to do something about it. So consider this my way of doing something about it. And here are 10 tips that I think are pretty helpful to deal with depression and anxiety. And these tips are in no specific order, by the way. So Mama TJ, if you are watching, no specific order. Tip number 1, I think it's really, really important to try. And when I say that, I mean, no matter how you're feeling, even if you're feeling horrible, extremely anxious, don't want to get out of bed, extremely sad, don't want to get out of bed, at least try. You'll be surprised what you can get done if you just try. Tip number 2, allow others to help you, which is one of the most difficult things for many of us to do, but it's so important because we really cannot do any of this alone, especially if we're trying to deal with something as strong and as overwhelming as anxiety or depression. We need help. Accept the help. Tip number 3, remember that as long as you are alive and well, nothing is make or break. I think a lot of us get so overwhelmed, especially if something really, really bad and negative and detrimental happens, or we get really bad news, or there's something affecting one of our close family members or friends. And those things are all valid reasons to feel sad or to feel anxious. But no matter what it is, it's not make or break. You will be able to get past it. You will be able to keep on going. Remember that. Tip number 4, for me, is one of the most important. Have faith in God. And by now, you guys probably already know I am a Christian. I do believe in God. And I honestly don't know how I would be here today if it wasn't for God. Like believing that there is a bigger plan for my life, believing that He's in control and that whatever things happen in my life, He has my best interest at heart, has gotten me through some really, really, really tough times. So I really would encourage you guys, if you haven't thought about it, try to develop a relationship with God. Give it a try. He loves you more than you love yourself. So it's a pretty big deal. Tip number 5, count your blessings. It's so tempting when we are feeling down and out to just focus on the negative feelings that we're having without realizing how blessed we actually are. Like, again, you're alive, you're healthy, you have somewhere to live, you have people that love you, you're going to school, many of us for free, public school, hello, private school, if you have the privilege of going to private school, like so many reasons. And when we focus more on the blessings that we have in life, it is a lot easier for us to make it through each day. So try it. Tip number 6, take each day one day at a time, one moment at a time, one obstacle at a time. Don't get overwhelmed. One thing at a time. Tip number 7, take care of yourself. We are like the worst, honestly, because many of us, we give so much, we give all the time, and we forget that we need to pour into ourselves and take care of ourselves. It's so important. If you guys haven't seen my video on self-care, I'll link it down in the description box below. But whatever you have to do to make sure that you are taking care of yourself, make it a priority. It helps so much just in general, but especially if you're trying to battle anxiety and depression. It's super, super important. Number 8, celebrate small victories. No matter how small, celebrate them, honey. And now my air conditioning or the heat is coming up, but that's okay. Celebrate those small victories, whether it's the fact that you got out of bed and took a shower and ate breakfast, ate something healthy, celebrate that. And if you did something wonderful at work, at school, you got a good grade on a test, you made a new friend, you made someone smile, celebrate those things, because life is full of great things, it's full of horrible things, but when we celebrate the great things, it makes life a lot more of a better place. Number 9, find an outlet. Whatever it is that you enjoy doing, whether it's singing, writing, reading, making YouTube videos, talking to people, whatever it is that allows you to get out your energy and to be creative, or whatever it is that makes you happy, make sure that you do those things as an outlet, because a lot of times we keep a lot of things in, which is not healthy. It's like pressure building up inside of a soda bottle. Like at some point it's gonna pop. So it's always better to let things out instead of holding them in, and find a good outlet to channel your energy so that you can have a better life. And finally, number 10, please be patient with yourself. Like they say, you guys know I love my cliches. Rome wasn't built in a day. You're not going to get out of your feelings of anxiety and depression in a day. The progress is going to seem really, really slow. You might not even notice it. And for other people, it really might be like that, where you wake up one day and you're just like, I'm done with this. I'm not being depressed anymore. I'm not being anxious anymore, and feel better. That's like 5% of the people. For the rest of us, it's like slow and steady wins the race. But remember, you will win the race. Now, I just want to share a story with you about a girl who was a go-getter. Like, she was type A to the max, and she planned out her entire life. She knew exactly what she wanted to be, and she did everything that she needed to do to make sure that she stayed on this path, and she did. Like, straight A student, top of her class, did amazing, and everything was literally going for her. But then in her early to mid 20s, she hit a speed bump where things didn't go according to plan. Like, she ended up getting into a great program, and she loved it, or so she thought, until she started to realize that it wasn't for her, that this wasn't the right path. But instead of dealing with it initially, she was so overwhelmed that she got really, really anxious and sad, and retreated from the people that she loved, retreated from everyone basically, and was extremely, extremely, extremely sad and anxious. And it got to a point where she was seriously questioning what her purpose in life was, and she couldn't answer that question, and that just made her even more sad. And this lasted for like several months, until she got to a point, after praying, and the prayers of others, honestly, helped her get out of this situation. She had loving parents, loving friends, loving church members, loving family members who prayed for her and encouraged her. And she decided to try. She decided to get out of bed and take it one day at a time. And it wasn't easy, but she was able to basically turn her life around. And now she has the job of her dreams. She was able to start doing a hobby that she really, really enjoys and connecting with people, encouraging people. She got to meet one of her greatest inspirations, and she's happy. Now, do you want to be happy? I think you do. Start off with just trying and see where that takes you. Don't forget to be brave, be kind, love God, love people. Bye.